The stars above the galaxy gleamed with the presence of countless advanced civilizations. In this vast, interconnected universe, the Galactic Union stood as the supreme authority. Made up of alien races that had long surpassed the limits of technology and intelligence, they ruled with an iron grip. But despite the dazzling array of civilizations under its fold, there was one race that caught their attention: humanity. Earth, a blue and green speck in the vastness of space, had been under the scrutiny of the Galactic Union for some time. For centuries, humanity had been regarded as a primitive species, a young, inexperienced race struggling with internal conflict, technological limitations, and a fragile ecosystem. The Union had long debated whether Earth was ready to join their ranks, and as they gathered to discuss the matter, a growing disdain began to simmer in the chambers of the Galactic Council. At the head of the table, the Veltherans, the most powerful and influential species in the galaxy, scoffed at the very thought of Earth's inclusion. With their towering physiques, advanced biological modifications, and psychic abilities, the Veltherans were the undisputed rulers of the galaxy. Their home planet was a shining example of what the Union had achieved, a race that had harnessed the power of the stars themselves. To them, humanity was nothing more than a curious relic of a time long past. "We cannot seriously entertain the idea of admitting Earth to our Union," said Theriv, the Veltheran representative, his deep, resonating voice echoing across the chamber. "These so-called humans are still trapped in their own primitive ways, barely scratching the surface of what we have accomplished." The other representatives of the Galactic Union murmured in agreement, shaking their heads in disbelief. Humanity was an insignificant species, they decided. No amount of their minor technological advancements could ever compare to the wonders created by the Union. After all, Earth had no warp drives, no intergalactic communication, and no ability to even travel beyond their solar system. They were simply too far behind. As the debate continued, the Union's decision seemed certain. Earth would remain in the shadows, far away from the stars. Humanity would be excluded from the glorious future that the Union had built. Yet, as the Union's council was preparing to finalize their decision, something strange happened. The first anomaly appeared as an energy surge that was detected in the region near Earth. At first, the readings were dismissed as a glitch in the sensors, but when similar surges began to appear in different areas, a sense of unease began to spread among the Union members. The energy waves were unlike anything they had encountered before. They didn't match the patterns of any known technology. And what was even more disturbing was the signal, a strange, encrypted message that seemed to originate from the depths of the cosmos. "What is this?" Theriv asked, his voice tinged with frustration as he looked at the data. The signal came from a distant star system, too far away to have been sent by any known race. Yet it seemed to be directed towards Earth. The council members fell silent, the unease growing into something more dangerous. No one could explain what was happening. The Veltherans, who had once mocked humanity for being primitives, were suddenly on edge. What was once considered an insignificant speck in the galaxy was now the focal point of something much larger. No one could comprehend the events unfolding around Earth. As the council tried to make sense of the anomalies, a final signal came through. This one was different. It wasn't a regular transmission. It was a cryptic message that reverberated throughout the council chamber, its meaning difficult to decipher. The voice was soft, almost like a whisper, but it carried with it an undeniable weight. It wasn't a language the Union had encountered before, yet the translation was eerily clear. "Don't underestimate humanity. The primitives are evolving." A cold shiver ran through the chamber. The words echoed in their minds long after the signal had ended. No one knew where the message had come from or who had sent it. But one thing was clear: the Union had made a grave mistake. Humanity, the species they had dismissed as weak and insignificant, was changing. And whatever had caused these mysterious surges, whatever had sent this warning, was not something they were prepared for. As the council tried to calm their nerves, Theriv's voice broke the silence. "We have underestimated them," he said slowly, his mind racing. Perhaps we should reconsider. But it was too late. The damage had already been done. Earth was no longer just a curious side note in the galaxy. Something was stirring, something that would change the course of history. The Union had thought they had the upper hand. They thought the humans were just a fleeting moment in the grand scheme of the galaxy. But now, they were no longer so sure. As the Council's final decision on humanity's fate lingered in the air, the feeling of unease turned into something darker. The Veltherans, once the most powerful race, began to question everything they thought they knew about the primitives of Earth. The message had left them with more questions than answers. The signal from the stars still rang in their ears, its meaning crystal clear. Humanity was no longer the same. The game had changed. The Union may have rejected humanity, but what they didn't know was that their rejection would be the catalyst for humanity's greatest transformation. Earth was on the verge of an evolution, one that would soon send shockwaves through the galaxy. And the primitives that the Union had so arrogantly dismissed were about to show them what true power really was. This expanded version of Part 1 offers a detailed introduction to the story, setting up the tension between Earth and the Galactic Union, and creating a suspenseful, engaging hook that will draw in the audience. The mystery behind the energy surges, the cryptic message, and the growing unease among the alien races sets the stage for the upcoming transformation of humanity. The suspenseful tone keeps the audience intrigued, and the cryptic warning at the end foreshadows the incredible changes that are about to take place, ensuring the story will keep the readers hooked. The universe had watched as the Galactic Union dismissed humanity as nothing more than a primitive species. For too long, Earth had been the underdog, looked down upon and ridiculed. But that was about to change. The mysterious warning had planted a seed, and now, Earth's scientists were working tirelessly to turn the tables. They had long been aware of the alien technologies in their midst, but after the Union's rejection, they knew they had no choice but to act quickly. The survival of humanity depended on it. The response was swift and decisive. Earth's governments and scientific bodies rallied together, pooling their knowledge and resources. A special task force was assembled, one tasked with studying the advanced technologies that had been secretly recovered from the remnants of alien spacecraft. For years, Earth had been conducting covert operations, stealing pieces of alien technology that had either crash-landed on the planet or been secretly intercepted. Now that stolen knowledge would serve as the cornerstone of humanity's fight for survival and supremacy. In the heart of a mountain range, hidden away from the prying eyes of the world, a top-secret facility was being built. Beneath the surface, inside reinforced walls deep under the earth, the most brilliant minds of Earth worked day and night. They were on the brink of something unprecedented. Here, in the depths of this hidden lab, scientists began experimenting with genetic modifications, quantum mechanics, and alien technology, seeking to enhance humanity's capabilities beyond anything ever imagined. The key to this evolution lay in one soldier, Bonner. A man of unparalleled skill, Bonner had volunteered to undergo the most dangerous and difficult process imaginable. His mind and body would be augmented with the most advanced alien technology Earth had ever seen. He was to become the prototype for a new breed of super soldiers, beings capable of feats that no human had ever dreamed of. The lab's scientists worked tirelessly, adjusting his genetic code, installing neural interfaces, and fusing alien technology into his very cells. As the experiments progressed, Bonner's body began to change. His muscles grew stronger, faster, and more resilient. His brain, once limited to the capabilities of a human mind, was enhanced by advanced neural interfaces, allowing him to process information at an alarming speed. His senses were sharpened to the point where he could hear a whisper from miles away or see the faintest movement in the dark. His skin was reinforced with a layer of alien nanomaterials, making him nearly invulnerable to conventional weapons. But it wasn't just his physical abilities that were transformed. His mind, too, became something more. With the integration of quantum computing devices, Bonner's brain became a supercomputer, able to calculate strategies, analyze battle scenarios, and even predict enemy movements before they occurred. He was no longer just a man. He was a weapon, a living embodiment of the new humanity, one that had risen from the ashes of rejection, ready to take on the galaxy. The day of the final test came. Bonner, now fully augmented, stood in the center of the lab's training arena. He was surrounded by robotic soldiers, machines designed for combat, each equipped with advanced weaponry and programmed to simulate real battle conditions. The test was simple: disable the entire battalion of robots and prove that humanity had finally risen to the occasion. As the training bots activated, Bonner's enhanced senses kicked into overdrive. The machines moved quickly, but Bonner was faster. His body flowed with fluid precision, every movement calculated and controlled. He dodged the first wave of robotic soldiers with ease, his enhanced reflexes allowing him to move faster than the human eye could follow. The robots tried to surround him, but Bonner was always one step ahead. His mind, augmented by alien technology, could predict their movements before they made them. He saw their attacks before they even launched. With a swift, powerful motion, he disarmed one robot, tearing its weapon from its grip and tossing it aside. In a blur of motion, Bonner used the bot's own weapon against it, turning the tables on his adversaries in a matter of seconds. The rest of the robots attempted to regroup, but Bonner was already on them, his speed and strength unmatched. Within moments, the entire battalion of robotic soldiers lay incapacitated, their systems fried or disassembled by the sheer power of Bonner's enhanced abilities. The scientists watching the scene from the observation deck stood in stunned silence. What they had witnessed was nothing short of extraordinary. Bonner, once just an ordinary soldier, had become a living weapon, a symbol of humanity's newfound power. His success in the sparring match was a clear sign that Earth was no longer the weak, insignificant species the Galactic Union had once thought them to be. Humanity had entered a new era, one where they were not just survivors, but contenders. As Bonner stood amidst the wreckage of the robotic soldiers, his breathing steady despite the intense battle, the significance of the moment became clear. He had proven the point. Humanity, for all its flaws and imperfections, had the potential to be something greater. The augmentation process had transformed Bonner into the perfect soldier, but he was also a symbol of the possibilities that lay ahead for humanity. This was only the beginning. The world would soon learn of Bonner's success, and the message would spread far and wide. Earth was no longer a primitive race to be ignored. They were no longer the underdogs. They had the power to stand toe-to-toe with the galaxy's most advanced species, and this time, humanity would not be content to simply survive. They were going to fight, and they were going to win. The news of Bonner's success rippled through Earth's military forces, sparking a chain reaction of hope and determination. Soldiers around the world began to train, inspired by Bonner's feats, and many volunteered for the same augmentations that had made him so powerful. The age of humanity's humiliation was over. Now, it was time to rise. As the experimentations continued and more soldiers underwent the transformation, the Union continued to watch from the shadows. They were still unaware of the true potential of the humans they had once mocked. But soon, they would learn. And when they did, the galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity had begun its journey toward greatness, and the consequences of their evolution would shake the very foundations of the Galactic Union. The question was no longer whether Earth was ready to join the stars. It was whether the Union could survive humanity's wrath. The time for underestimating humanity had passed, and the universe was about to learn that the primitives had become the greatest power the galaxy had ever known. The Galactic Union, still unconvinced that Earth had truly evolved into a threat, made a decision. They would send a small reconnaissance ship to Earth, tasked with gathering intelligence on the so-called primitives. Their plan was simple: infiltrate, observe, and confirm that humanity was still as insignificant as they had always been. They believed that the human race had no real power to back up the rumors they had heard. but Earth was about to show them just how wrong they were. The first sign that something was wrong came when the Union ship suddenly experienced a surge of electromagnetic interference. Communications went dark, and the ship's navigation system malfunctioned. The crew, confused and alarmed, tried to regain control, but it was already too late. A series of energy pulses, invisible to the naked eye, but powerful enough to disable the ship's systems, struck from all directions. The ship's cloaking devices, developed by Earth's best scientists, rendered it invisible to any sensors, making it nearly impossible for the Union to track or respond. In an instant, the Union ship was ambushed by a hidden fleet of human vessels. Armed with energy-based weapons, these ships emerged from the shadows like phantoms, attacking with ruthless precision. The once confident Union ship, with all its advanced technology, had no chance against the superior tactics of Earth's forces. The battle was over in minutes. The ship's hull was shredded by concentrated energy blasts, and the crew was wiped out without a single escape pod launched. The destruction of the reconnaissance ship sent shockwaves through the Galactic Union. They had underestimated humanity. Once again, what they thought was a small, insignificant planet had just taken down one of their advanced warships without breaking a sweat. This was no accident. Earth had far exceeded the Union's expectations, and they knew it now. The battle lines had been drawn. But the Union's retaliation was swift. Their fleet, larger and more powerful, was already en route, prepared for what they believed would be an easy victory. The humans, after all, were still primitives, as the Union had so condescendingly labeled them. They assumed that Earth's technological advancements were a fluke, that the primitive species would fall apart under the pressure of a real fight. What they didn't realize was that humanity had learned from every defeat, every insult, and every rejection. Earth's rise wasn't a fluke. It was the beginning of something much greater. When the Union fleet arrived in Earth's orbit, they were confident in their overwhelming superiority. Hundreds of ships, each armed with advanced weaponry, surrounded the planet. They were prepared to strike, expecting the humans to cower beneath their might. But the Union fleet was in for a rude awakening. As the Union ships moved into position, Earth's forces launched their counterattack. Hundreds of human warships, equipped with advanced cloaking devices, surged from the planet's atmosphere, appearing out of nowhere to engage the Union forces. The Union ships, expecting an easy battle, were caught off guard. Their systems scrambled to track the fast-moving human ships, but Earth's new cloaking technology made it nearly impossible to detect them. One by one, human ships emerged from their cloaks, launching devastating energy blasts that tore through the Union's defenses. The humans weren't just surviving, they were thriving. Their ships moved with incredible speed and agility, evading enemy fire while delivering precise, pinpoint strikes. The Union ships, accustomed to overwhelming their foes with sheer force, were now faced with a fight they hadn't prepared for. Each human ship operated like a living, breathing organism, maneuvering with surgical precision, coordinating in perfect harmony. The once confident Union fleet was now on the defensive, their superiority crumbling under the pressure of Earth's relentless assault. Bonner, now a seasoned warrior and leader of Earth's forces, was at the helm of one of the flagship vessels. His mind, augmented with alien technology, allowed him to see the battlefield in ways that no one else could. He could anticipate enemy movements, calculate strategies, and execute plans with a level of efficiency that was unmatched. As the battle raged on, Bonner was in the heart of the action, directing his ships with precision, outmaneuvering the Union at every turn. He had become a symbol of humanity's newfound power, a force to be reckoned with. But as the battle intensified, Bonner was faced with a decision that would haunt him forever. Among the soldiers fighting alongside him was his closest friend, Jackson, a brave and loyal man who had stood by his side through countless battles. Jackson was one of the best, a man who had been enhanced just like Bonner, and who had become a powerful warrior in his own right. In that moment, Bonner felt a surge of grief and rage unlike anything he had ever experienced. Jackson wasn't just a comrade. he was family. Bonner's mind, already enhanced to its limits, flooded with memories of their shared past, the battles they had fought together, the victories and losses they had endured side by side. The loss was more than just the death of a friend. It was the death of a part of himself. Fueled by grief, Bonner's mind turned cold with vengeance. He commanded his fleet with an intensity that sent shockwaves through the Union forces. Earth's ships, driven by the collective rage of a species that had been humiliated for so long, fought with unparalleled fury. They didn't just want to survive. They wanted to avenge their fallen comrade, to show the Union once and for all that humanity was not to be underestimated. The Union fleet, already on the defensive, began to crumble under the relentless assault. The once proud warships of the Galactic Union were now little more than debris, scattered across the void of space. One by one, the ships were destroyed, their crews wiped out by the fury of humanity's forces. The Union had learned a painful lesson that day. The primitives they had dismissed were now the most formidable force in the galaxy. As Bonner stood on the bridge of his ship, watching the remnants of the Union fleet drift into the darkness of space, the weight of what had just happened began to sink in. The battle was over, but the war was far from finished. Humanity had taken its first step onto the galactic stage, and there was no turning back. The Union had underestimated them, but now they knew better. Earth's rise had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The loss of the reconnaissance ship, followed by the destruction of the Union's fleet, had sent a ripple through the Galactic Union that could not be ignored. The once unshakable confidence of the Union was replaced by panic and disbelief. How could a primitive species like humanity, which had been regarded as insignificant for so long, defeat their finest warriors? The Galactic Union, shaken to its very core, scrambled to respond. They couldn't allow such an embarrassing defeat to go unpunished. Earth, a planet they had long considered beneath their notice, had now proven itself as a formidable adversary. The Union could not, and would not, allow humanity to stand against them any longer. In a bid to crush this rising threat once and for all, the Galactic Union dispatched its most powerful fleet to Earth. The fleet, composed of hundreds of massive warships, was bristling with advanced weaponry, artificial intelligence, and automated drones. These ships were among the Union's best, designed to deal with the most dangerous of threats. The message they sent to Earth was blunt and terrifying. Submit to our authority, or face total annihilation. The Union's command was clear. They would give humanity one last chance to surrender. But this was no longer the same humanity that had been dismissed and humiliated. Earth had transformed, and it was about to show the Union just how far they had come. As the Galactic Union's fleet made its way toward Earth, the planet's forces prepared for the battle that would determine their future. The humans had something the Union couldn't possibly predict: a fleet of new ships. Ships unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The humans had built what could only be described as demigod ships, massive vessels capable of manipulating space-time and energy itself. These ships, built using a combination of human ingenuity and stolen alien technology, were far beyond anything the Union had developed. The moment the Union fleet entered Earth's orbit, the demigod ships sprang to life. These massive ships tore through the stars, their sheer size and power dwarfing anything the Union had ever seen. With the press of a button, the demigod ships unleashed devastating energy pulses that sent shockwaves through the Union fleet. The result was catastrophic. The Union's best fleet, brimming with advanced weaponry and artificial intelligence, was utterly crushed in a stunning orbital bombardment. The energy blasts fired from the demigod ships obliterated entire sections of the Union fleet, leaving no time for retaliation. The space around Earth shimmered with the energy of the battle, the stars flickering as the Union's fleet was reduced to rubble. But the battle didn't end there. As the Union ships crumbled under the weight of humanity's superior technology, Earth's forces launched their secondary attack. The human ships, equipped with advanced cloaking devices and energy weapons, moved in to finish the job. Their strategy was simple: destroy every last vestige of the Union's military presence. In the midst of the chaos, humanity's ground forces were deployed to take the battle to the Union's remaining ships. As the Union forces struggled to maintain their defenses, the humans unleashed a new weapon: advanced robots and drones. These machines, designed for close-quarters combat, were deployed to board the remaining Union ships and engage in brutal hand-to-hand combat. The robots, equipped with advanced artificial intelligence, were unstoppable in battle. Their enhanced strength, precision, and speed made them perfect for breaching the enemy's defenses. Imagine the scene: human soldiers, augmented by alien technology, charging through the corridors of Union warships, tearing through the metal walls with their bare hands and advanced tools. Alien soldiers, once proud and powerful, were now trapped inside their own ships, overwhelmed by the relentless assault of humanity's finest machines. The battle raged on, with the humans sweeping through the Union vessels like a storm, leaving nothing but destruction in their wake. The Union's once unbeatable forces were now being cut down, ship by ship, as humanity's robots and drones tore them apart with ruthless efficiency. In the middle of the battle, Bonner, now a seasoned and hardened leader, found himself aboard one of the Demigod ships. His mind, enhanced by alien technology, allowed him to control the ship's systems with ease. The battle had become personal for him. The humiliation of humanity, the losses they had endured, the deaths of his friends, all of it had led him to this moment. The Union would learn the price of underestimating Earth. Bonner led the charge, directing the Demigod ships as they tore through the Union's remaining defenses. As the ships fired their energy beams, each strike was a reminder of humanity's power, a stark contrast to the Union's arrogance. The Union ships, once brimming with confidence, now found themselves powerless against the might of Earth's forces. But there was no time to rest. The Union's remaining forces, still reeling from the initial bombardment, attempted a counterattack. They sent waves of automated drones to engage humanity's ships, but it was clear that Earth had the advantage. The Union drones, though powerful, were no match for the advanced robots and artificial intelligence developed by humanity. The drones were easily outmaneuvered, their weapons ineffective against the superior technology of the humans. As the battle intensified, the Union fleet began to retreat, their once proud ships limping away from the battlefront, severely damaged and defeated. Humanity, the species once laughed at as primitives, had dealt a crushing blow to the Galactic Union. The message was clear: Earth would not bow to anyone. They had taken their place as a force to be reckoned with in the galaxy. From the Union's perspective, the once inconceivable had happened. The primitives had not only fought back, but had completely overwhelmed them with superior technology, tactics, and sheer willpower. It was a humiliating defeat, one that would be remembered for millennia. The Galactic Union had learned a hard lesson that day: never underestimate humanity. The final moments of the battle were marked by eerie silence, broken only by the faint hum of Earth's remaining warships. The Union's once mighty fleet was now nothing more than a collection of wreckage, floating aimlessly in space. Humanity, victorious and unbowed, stood at the center of the galaxy, their message loud and clear. As Bonner watched the remnants of the Union fleet float into the dark void, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride, not just for himself, but for all of humanity. They had done it. Against all odds, they had proven their worth. But this victory was only the beginning. The Galactic Union had learned to fear humanity, and Earth was just getting started. The stars would tremble before the might of humanity. The aftermath of the battle was a surreal experience for everyone involved. The Galactic Union, which had once thought of Earth as a mere speck in the vastness of the galaxy, had been humbled. Their fleet was in retreat, their pride shattered, and their strength crumbled under the might of humanity. For the first time in history, the underdog species that had been dismissed and underestimated had proven that they could not only fight, but could win. Earth's message had been delivered loud and clear: But now, humanity needed to let the galaxy hear it directly from them. The moment had arrived. Humanity had emerged victorious, and now it was time to speak to the stars. The Union had been forced to retreat, but it was clear that their anger and humiliation would not be forgotten so easily. They would regroup, they would rebuild, and they would come for Earth again. But humanity was ready. They were no longer the naive, helpless species that had once been dismissed. The world's leaders knew that the galaxy needed to understand this, and they needed to understand it now. On Earth, amidst the stillness of the war's aftermath, the world's greatest hero stood before a camera, ready to speak not just to humanity, but to the entire galaxy. Bonner, the once humble soldier who had been thrust into a leadership role, had risen to the occasion. His transformation from a simple soldier to a symbol of Earth's newfound strength was nothing short of remarkable. He had become a hero in the eyes of his people, and a warning to those who dared to threaten them. As the camera rolled, Bonner's voice echoed through the vast expanse of space, reaching every corner of the galaxy where Union sympathizers and potential enemies might listen. His words were powerful, clear, and filled with the conviction of someone who had fought not just for victory, but for survival. "We were once the underdogs," he began, his voice firm but tinged with emotion. "Dismissed as weak and insignificant, we were ignored, mocked, and underestimated. But now we stand as the voice of reason and strength in the galaxy." The words that followed carried the weight of humanity's past, present, and future. They were not a species that sought to dominate, nor were they looking for war. Humanity had not wanted this conflict, had not asked for it, but they would not run from it. "We won't fight for domination," Bonner declared, his eyes burning with a fierce intensity. "But if you come for us again, we will show no mercy." His words hung in the air, charged with a power that resonated across the galaxy. The gravity of his statement could not be overstated. Humanity had been pushed to the brink, but now they stood tall. The message was unmistakable. They had become a force to be reckoned with, and anyone who dared to threaten their existence would be met with unrelenting force. But there was more to Bonner's speech than just the declaration of strength. As he continued, the emotion in his voice became more apparent. His words became a tribute to those who had given everything for Earth's survival. "I stand here today, not just as a soldier, but as someone who has seen the horrors of this war. I have lost friends, comrades, people I trusted with my life. And as I speak, their faces are etched in my mind. We did not fight for glory. We fought for our homes, for our families, for our future." Bonner's voice cracked slightly as he continued, the weight of grief and loss pressing heavily on him. "We fight not because we seek war, but because we will do whatever it takes to protect what is ours. And we will protect those who seek refuge. The galaxy may see us as primitives, but we are more than that. We are a people united by our will to survive, and we will never again be underestimated." The emotional depth of Bonner's words cut through the tension of the moment. His grief, his pain, his loss, it all came through in his speech. The galaxy, no matter how distant or indifferent, could feel the raw emotion in every syllable. Humanity had been forged in the fires of war, and they would never go back to the helplessness of the past. They had become something greater, a force that could protect their people, their home, and any who sought safety in their arms. But Bonner's speech wasn't just about words, it was about actions. As he finished speaking, the world watched as Earth prepared to demonstrate just how powerful it had become. To prove that their words were not empty threats, humanity was going to show the galaxy the full extent of their strength and restraint. They would show that they were not a species that acted out of blind rage or desire for domination, but a species that had the power to destroy and the wisdom to hold back. The Galactic Union had learned the hard way that Earth was not a planet to be taken lightly. But humanity's message wasn't about revenge. It was about establishing their place in the galaxy. To prove this, Earth's forces decided to demonstrate their control over power. In front of the watching galaxy, Earth's most advanced weapon, a massive Union warship captured during the battle, was taken to the edge of destruction. The Union warship, once a symbol of superiority, was now in the hands of humanity. The world watched in awe as Earth's Demigod ships locked onto the warship, their energy beams charged and ready to fire. It was a display of humanity's new power. They had the ability to destroy the warship in seconds, but instead, they chose to show restraint. In a flash, the Demigod ships unleashed a powerful beam that completely disabled the Union warship. The ship's engines and weapon systems went dark, rendering it powerless. The Union ship was left floating in space, a lifeless husk of metal, as humanity's forces hovered nearby, watching. No one had been harmed in the process. The warship was left intact, a symbol of humanity's strength and control. The message was clear. Humanity had the power to destroy, but they would not use it recklessly. They would fight only when necessary, but if they were pushed again, they would show no mercy. As the camera cut back to Bonner, his expression was calm but resolute. He had delivered the message, and humanity had made its point. The galaxy had seen their strength, their restraint, and their new role as a protector and a force for peace. But the warning was clear. If the Union or any other power came for Earth again, they would be ready. Humanity had shed its status as an underdog and had taken its rightful place in the galaxy. In that moment, Earth had proven that it was no longer a weak and insignificant species. Humanity had emerged victorious, not just in battle, but in spirit. Their message had been heard. The galaxy would remember the rise of humanity, a rise that would echo through the stars for eons to come. Bonner's final words were simple but powerful. We are humanity, and we are here to stay. The stars shimmered with an eerie silence as the galaxy stood on the brink of a new era. Humanity, once overlooked, now stood as the unquestioned power in the galaxy. Their victory against the Galactic Union was complete, and their message had been broadcast to every corner of the universe. Yet the cost of that victory was not without its price. The last remaining forces of the Union, humiliated and enraged, prepared to make one final stand against humanity's newfound strength. For the final battle, the stakes were higher than ever. The last remnants of the Union's military forces, stripped of their pride and their former dominance, came together in one desperate attempt to wipe out the human threat once and for all. They had learned the hard way that humanity could not be ignored, and now, with nothing left to lose, they aimed to strike Earth with everything they had. But humanity was ready. As the final battle began, the galactic stage was set for an all-out war that would determine the fate of the universe. The sky above Earth was filled with the glinting of massive warships, the air vibrating with the hum of energy weapons charging. For the humans, this was not just a battle for survival. It was the culmination of everything they had fought for: their freedom, their future, and their place in the galaxy. The battle would rage across the vastness of space, a furious clash of civilizations, with each side unwilling to back down. Humanity's forces, led by the mighty Demigod ships and Bonner's squadron, were unmatched. They were powered by technology that had been stolen and adapted from the Union's own advanced machinery. Humans had learned from their past and had built an entire fleet capable of manipulating space-time itself. With the galaxy as their battlefield, the humans proved once again that they were not the weak species they had once been. The Union, still clinging to their former arrogance, launched wave after wave of attacks, their ships forming an imposing armada in the blackness of space. Their artificial intelligence, their weapons, their tactics, all were designed to crush humanity once and for all. But humanity's resolve was stronger. Every maneuver, every move made by Bonner and his comrades in the heat of battle showed their strength and unity. The humans' precision strikes, combined with their understanding of alien technology, left the Union forces struggling to keep up. As the battle raged on, Bonner and his team found themselves in the heart of the conflict. They moved with purpose, cutting through the Union forces with the skill and precision of a force that had learned from countless battles. But there was a dark weight on Bonner's heart. Despite their technological superiority and tactical brilliance, humanity had suffered great losses in the earlier battles. Friends, family, comrades. Too many had fallen. Now Bonner knew that one final sacrifice was necessary if Earth was to remain safe. In the chaos of the battle, Bonner received a desperate message. The Union's flagship, the heart of their remaining forces, was heading directly for Earth. The massive vessel was capable of massive destruction, and if it reached Earth, it would mean the end of everything humanity had fought for. There was no time to waste. Bonner, seeing the threat, made the hardest decision of his life. With steely determination, Bonner piloted his ship toward the Union flagship, his mind made up. He would not allow Earth's victory to be undone. He knew the cost of this decision, his life. The thought of leaving his comrades behind, of never seeing Earth again, weighed heavily on him. But he also knew it was the only way to ensure humanity's survival. As his ship closed in on the flagship, Bonner's final moments were spent focused on one mission: to disable the enemy ship and prevent it from launching a final devastating attack on Earth. The moment was tense. Bonner's ship flew through waves of incoming fire, dodging explosions and energy beams with expert precision. His heart raced, knowing that this was the end of his journey. With one final push, he activated the weapons systems and launched a devastating strike directly into the flagship's core. The explosion was massive, shaking the stars themselves. The flagship's shields collapsed, and with a blinding flash, the enemy ship was crippled. Bonner's sacrifice had ensured Earth's survival. The final battle was over. Humanity had won, but at a cost. Bonner's death was a heavy blow to his comrades, to Earth, and to the entire galaxy. The victory was sweet, but the loss of a hero left a deep scar on the hearts of those who remained. The universe had witnessed humanity's strength, but they had also seen the price that had been paid. As the battle ended and the Union's forces scattered, the galaxy began to take stock of what had happened. No longer could they look at Earth with disdain. The once weak species had proven themselves to be a powerful force, capable of defending their home, their people, and their future. They had earned their place in the galaxy, and there was no turning back. But the victory was not only about power. It was about the sacrifice, the bravery, and the unwavering spirit of those who had fought for what was right. The universe, for all its size and complexity, had witnessed something profound. The emergence of a species that had been written off as insignificant, but had found its way to greatness. The emotional core of this victory was felt deeply by the people of Earth. The loss of Bonner, a hero in every sense, weighed heavily on the survivors. They mourned the man who had given everything for their future. The world came together, not in celebration, but in remembrance. The galaxy had seen what humanity was capable of, and now it was time for Earth to honor those who had fallen in the fight for peace. In the aftermath of the war, a memorial was erected on Earth, a tribute to all those who had given their lives in the defense of their planet. It was a simple, solemn monument, but its significance was immense. Every person on Earth knew that their victory had been won by the blood of their friends, their families, their comrades. The memorial was a reminder of what had been sacrificed and what had been gained. As the camera panned over the memorial, a voice echoed through the stars. The message was clear. Humanity had emerged from the depths of despair and had found a way to rise above the odds. They were no longer the underdogs. They were the protectors of the galaxy, and their message was heard throughout the universe.